who are real focused on just making that money. But I'm like, well, what do you love to do? Yeah, but I like making money. You know, and you're like, oh shit, midlife crisis for you. For sure.
Welcome to Earthy, where eco-loving meets adventure living. Here you'll enjoy stories from people living lives based on what they love. If you're sick of depressing news, you're in the right place. Earthy is designed to inspire and teach you about sustainability, earth-friendly lifestyles, travel, and well-being. Your host is an adventure and lifestyle author, Shannon McGivney.
This presentation was brought to you by the Ben Chamber and Adventure Guru.
First of all, shout out to The Hangover. I like that you were like, boom, that's me, that's my life. Just because honestly it's a very necessary thing, and there was somebody else in there who was secretly saying thank you to themselves. I'm wearing this earpiece thing, and you're at the summit thing, so can we do like a Tony Robbins intro though? Okay, so I'm gonna leave the stage, and I'm gonna run back on, and then I'm gonna be super hyped about stuff, and I'm just gonna start screaming, and then I want you to start yelling, and then I'm gonna yell some words for you to say, and then a couple of you be like, and then stand up, and then other people will start to stand up, and that's how we're gonna start it. Okay? Take off my stand. Just wait for it. Here it comes. I'll come from the back. Start and stop. I'm losing myself. And actually, I really like Tony Robbins. I think he has a lot of very useful things to say. And he's huge. And in a past life, he probably did a lot of, pillaging and raping. And I'm glad that he's here, but that's what he is now. Because people like that back in the day would use their physical attributes to their advantage. Great way to start. The jobs that I have, the life that I have, I'm very honored to be here speaking. In fact, anytime I get to come on the stage and try out some of my ideas, it means the world to me. And quite often it is the world to me. And I should say, I have it on good authority that I am not. Okay. For you in authority, that is. I can say what I'm going to say as it's been true for me, though I cannot think for you any more than I can speak for you, and may this always be so. May you always find that you are best suited for the task of being an authority in your life. And may also it be so that any truth is truly applicable in a livable unification that comes from a thriving ecosystem of diverse thought, feeling, and spirit. Diversity as unification. Diversity, unification, inclusivity. Or you should... That works out to DUI, so we'll scratch that. Overall, trying to just find our place, and I want to talk some more about that. I was all over the place with this. I had like this thing about the national anthem. I think we need to change our birthday song. I think we need to change our New Year's song. And I think we need to change our national anthem for real. Those are all very depressing, sort of self-aggrandizing and punishing songs of the same. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm just going to do it. I think what we should, this doesn't necessarily pertain to anything that I'm going to say, but I think we should change, because the birthday song is basically like, someday I will die, someday I will die. It doesn't make me want to eat cake. The national anthem, I think, should change, because I'm all for, I like Herbert Marcuse talked about, like the resistance and the great refusal. And I think there's a lot to be said for being within the system of sorts and not necessarily trying to topple it, but just change it by a little bit, like giving it a nudge with each lifetime and with each generation. So I think if we change the national anthem, I think it should be, Jerry Coffin and Carol King, sung by Aretha Franklin. I think it should be Natural Woman. And that, at those super machismo sports, woman! talk about Jimi Hendrix, and I want to talk about the Golgi apparatus, and lipids, and ribosomes, and organelles, and rainbow trout, and kids in Madras, and steelhead. But I pared it down, I think, to just these concepts here. Okay, so, which is, it's going to be repeating, and I understand it's been a long day, and so you need to like, pick up what works for you, and then fade in and out, and I won't be offended this way. But the idea is normalizing excellence. Okay, I'm going to stick to my script. And when I thought about normalizing excellence, what first came to mind was getting beyond our firsts. Has a lot of drag. A lot of things that are pulling it back from the momentum we could be achieving. So we have normalized prejudice, we've normalized enslavement, we've normalized rape culture, we've normalized sexism, we've normalized massive economic corruption, we've normalized ecological disaster, we've normalized mass violence. If we can normalize oceans of garbage, can we not also normalize exceptionality in a complex confluence of realized dreams? Let's normalize our ability to do and live who we know we are, and not to punish each other for knowing ourselves. Which we also do. We also clearly do. My kids are in school big time right now. I'm watching my kids go to school and being themselves and getting punished for it. As many of us were. Okay. Let's normalize material gain and financial gain as a byproduct of enacting and rising to meet your truest self, rather than the empty trophy of an ultimately hollow end goal. Which is also something I'm seeing a lot of right now. Kids who are, and I do mean kids, who are real focused on just making that money. But I'm like, well, what do you love to do? Yeah, but I like making money. You know, and you're like, oh shit, midlife crisis for you. For sure. Okay, so the future that I'm asking you to participate in now, that is to say the future that we are all being asked to participate in now, and this is our greatest act of protest, of revolution, of inspiration, of work towards the common good, which is having the best life be a normal practice. Which means confronting the impossible time and time again, and going beyond our own hypocrisy, going beyond paradox. And you were a 6-year-old, so you probably didn't say it, but you're just like, fuck that. Like, you're like, I'm gonna stick with that Velcro. I need that shoe that makes like a, I need that sound in my shoe selection. Because it was really difficult, and then that difficulty caused embarrassment, and doubt, and fear, and anxiety, and depression, which, by the way, are perfectly normal, healthy things to feel when risking the risk of new accomplishments or learning something new. Doubt and fear and anxiety and depression are frequencies that give us feedback from the sounding board of our lives that will help us tune in to the types of work we want to do, and the actions we want to take, and the songs we want to sing, and the notes we want to play, and orchestrate in a harmonic symphony of cacophonies that is the reality of our existence. There is no wrong emotion. As there is no wrong color. You tell the sphere monk Thelonious what scales he can and cannot weigh in on, and watch him go straight no chaser. In my understanding, doubt, fear, anxiety, depression, thoughts of self-harm, thoughts of harming others, these feelings demand that we listen, but they do not demand that we obey. They are part of an inborn natural intelligence which is undoubtedly occurring as we heed the call to live the life you are supposed to live. That is to say, your best life, yeah? And the work you're supposed to do, and the work you know you must do, like tying your shoes. So to go back to that, so pun intended, when tying your shoes tripped you up, and you would make up, at least I did, I lied. I would make up these backstories, and to embellish on that, you would say things like I could if I wanted to, I just am choosing not to, like as a right. And I like to leave these untied as like it's a fashion statement. I could, but this is a kind of a protest, you understand? Because I don't believe that using knots is essential moving forward in my life. I understand we are free, and I gotta move forward. I don't be tying my shoes for socio-political reasons, says the 6-year-old. You know, this is commentary on the suffrage movement. And when it was first explained to you, it basically broke your brain. But then also too, for a moment, please. The way it was explained was also difficult to grasp. So, I'm gonna be your mom. I'll be my mom too, but let's make fun of her for a second. And also let's tell her thank you because we don't enough. All right.
So first the laces are gonna be a bridge, and then we pull it tight, and then we make 2 rabbit ears, and then we're gonna have the rabbit go around. And so first of all, you're like, okay, I got you with the bridge. That makes sense. Laces equal rabbit ears, so we're moving on to this rabbit concept. The rabbit goes around the tree and goes into its home and out the other side, and now your shoes are tied. And then you were like, again, a 6-year-old, but you're like, the fuck? And then you were like, so the laces were in ears a second ago, and that makes sense because they look like that, but now one lace is like a tree, and it goes around into a hole in its ground, and then the rabbit lives in my shoe, and then it comes back out the other side, and that's how you tie your shoe. So you took half the rabbit and wrapped it around the other rabbit, so the 2 loops are the entire rabbit, and then the rabbit mutated into a tree and a habitat from a bridge, so the shoe is the rabbit's home, and then my foot is the earth, and then the shoe is the forest, and the laces are both the tree, and the rabbit is the tie, and then so you're having to like ascribe zoomorphic properties to your shoelace just to get the concept of how to wear your shoes, and it boggled us, and it was work, and it took practice, and humiliation, and disappointment, but you knew you had to do it. And then one day, you got it and you were expert. And today, you don't go outside like, boom, I did my shoes. You're trying to get my number because I did my shoes just now. And it's commonplace, and somebody else achieving that skill set doesn't hold you back. It allows you, if you want to really stretch the poem out on this, poetry out on this, it allows you all to run together, to move forward together. And you've applied that one skill set countless times. Wrapping a bow on a present at a birthday where hopefully they sing a different song. You applied it countless times, different places. So, and now I need to say this. Okay, one reason why this is so important, this idea of, and you've heard this before, the living your best life, but getting to this place of pushing through the discomfort into some realm of mastery with whatever it is because, and this is an unprovable belief, but my feeling, as I understand the world today, is that someday, quite literally, you will be me, and I will be you. This is how I literally look at you. Like, we are just energy. That's our system in fate. Bound to travel eternity once we're let out the gate. Eternity. Don't it then stand to reason that someday we trade place? And I'd argue the other side of the same damn debate. When I look in the mirror, all I see is your fate. That you will be me, and I will be you, which is why it behooves you, and it is to your benefit that I heed my calling, and that I know who I want to be, and what I want to do, and what I must do. Even though it will be difficult, and it will be difficult, living your best life will at times be extraordinarily difficult, but so will not living your best life. And of course, best is a relative term, unique to each person. And best is not a destination. Best is not an arrival point. Destination is a journey, because the journey destiny. In order to live your best life, you must heed the calling which echoes from an unknown source, a place where words cannot touch. So now, wrap your thinking around that for a moment. Your calling is speaking to you from a place that words cannot touch, and yet you can hear it. We hear it inside of our head and our heart and our guts in our lives. We hear it when we are on track, and we hear it when we are at a job or in a relationship that we don't actually want. It echoes, bounces off the walls of our perceived limitations. This calling is beckoning you onwards through the barriers, which appears to be impossible to go beyond, and yet you do because you must, because you already have done the impossible to get here. Something as simple as tying your shoes to get here. So my wish for all of us here is that we give over to the and heed the gentle, I love these. But I love these summits. I love when we get together in this grand way, but I also really want to suggest, a lot of times that call is very delicate. And it's very quiet, and it's a very gentle thing, and it's gonna probably grab you when you're least expecting it. It'll be very soft, okay? But it will be a momentous nudge to enact in our own lives what will bring not peace per se, but placement. Okay, so not so much the pursuit of happiness, but the pursuit of place. Feeling at place I believe, is not only attainable as the peace is the byproduct of feeling at place. Any four walls can make a house, but where you feel at place is a home. And we are not looking for a flat line of balance, but a pulsing niche where perfection is by definition asymmetrical, as we are asymmetrical, as we are perfect, and perfectly modeled to meet the challenge of our tailor-made calling. Like genius is a thing that you were born with. It is not something so much so that can be seen on an IQ score. It is something that you came into the world with. It is a very unique gift for you. And there is something that is asking you to learn how to use that thing and apply it to your life. Which goes, genius born in each of us, uniquely made for each of us, gifted back to raise us up, designed from where the stars erupt. Yes, we're of that infinite, suited for this finite form. Village, raise these children up to raise their voice and brave the storm. My feasible wish for you is a place in a complex, viable, living ecosystem that values the so-called parasite and pariah as just as necessary and just as important to the overall vitality of our community. For real, we use leeches at the hospital right now. So everything has a place, literally. Malcolm X has this cool quote, which is something to the effect of, don't be too quick to condemn a person because she doesn't do what you do or think how you think, considering there was a time you didn't know what you know now. Normalizing excellence means overcoming the impossible as commonplace and utilizing a cross-section of our skill sets in perhaps new configurations, and I would say almost always, old things used in new ways, to achieve global efficiency, to reduce that drag, to create tangible miracles. Like if you've ever held your own kid, you know, as we simultaneously caution against, and this is an important piece too, so yes, to live your best life, but caution against the pitfalls that come with believing you are better than anyone because of the excellence you have achieved. Because you know the kids who made you feel like shit because you were on that Velcro. That wasn't cool, man. That wasn't cool. That's not cool. And we can normalize this level of kindness. You're not better than anyone because of the excellence you've achieved or believing the practice of pushing beyond the impossible will ever stop. It's not going to stop. You're not trying to arrive. You're going to do this until you die and then you're going to get up the next morning. My wife said the most profound thing to me the other day, which she does. I live with that subtle whisper, I'm like, what did you just say? What did I say? You know? She said, and in addition to, we just lost a great guy in this community not too long ago, so he's gone. But she said, so I'm thinking about that, and she said, we don't know how much time we have, but we do have time. Woo! From that, like the Dalai Lama just sat up and was like, what was that? Did anybody else hear that? I'm gonna write that down and claim it. So, we do have time. We do have right now. And with this time that we have, I'm going to ask you to look at the world as if everything is a metaphor. Everything is a secret code that you can read and speak and understand. Everything is symbolic. Everything is rife with poetry. The world we live in is speaking to you all the time, regardless of where you are. So, let's flip it back to the Tony Robbins thing for a second. So right now, okay, prepare yourself for the answer. Whatever it is an indication of where to go. And I'm asking you right now, very sincerely, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? I'm asking you not about yesterday, and I'm not asking you about tomorrow. I'm saying right now. So you get to sit with that question for a moment. And then you get to, and notice the contradiction here. You get to sit in silence and hear it. The response. Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be and what do you want to be? And not with judgment, not even with reality. Oh, I can because I can't because. Not how you're going to do it.
oh, I've got to get somebody else to help me, nah, just the answer. If you have come up with, I don't know, I would offer that you play with those words the way poets do. So, perhaps I don't know can be flipped, don't I know? Or, I know don't. Knowing what you're not going to do is just as helpful as knowing what you are going to do. And one will lead you to the other. There is no one in this room who is going to know the answer to this question better than yourself. This is a journey. It's been a long day for you, I would imagine. I want to leave you with this last piece. Oh, but before I do that, we could Tony Robbins for a second. Does anybody want to stand up? Does anybody want to stand up in front? I don't know what that impulse was, but that's exactly what I was talking about. I don't know what it was. Does anybody want to stand up? I thought about not saying this, but I'm saying this. Does anybody want to stand up and risk saying out loud what they want to be? I would suggest it is a risk, or who they want to be. Look at how many folks are standing up. So this is part of your work. This is a very difficult, I'll tell you right now, I want to be right here, and this is who I want to be. Right now, I get to do this for a job. The audacity of telling you good ideas, like you don't have good ideas. Fucking A, this is a good job. How many degrees do you have? How many letters after your name? I have a high school diploma. I have a lot of support. I have a lot of regret. I have a lot of failures. I have a lot of things that you were talking about earlier today. But this is my job. I get to write down my ideas and share them for as long as I have a voice and as long as there's folks who will be supportive of it, yeah? What do you want to do? This might not be the time and place to say, and also maybe too, it's like super freaky. It's like something to do with like a suit of sorts and a flavor and like a motorcycle or something. Like it's something like kind of weird. You're like, I want like a leather, full body unitard. You know? I don't know. Chocolate flavored on this side. And a Honda. I don't know. It doesn't have to be anything. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more time and then I'm gonna move. So if you were looking for a this is that moment, this is that moment. I'll risk standing vulnerable too, outside of the bulletproof lectern. Does anybody want to stand up and say, knowing that ultimately you are in a room full of people who support you? Wow, yeah. Does anybody want to say? You just want to applaud them for standing? That's the Tony Robbins effect. Somebody who's standing up maybe should say out loud. Yeah.
I want to be a manager, I think.
Yeah. Manager, I think as far as I know, they say I want to be a manager and then they keep the I think to themselves and the employees have no idea. All right. If we're going to Tony Robbins it, then I say something like, but you have to answer this sincerely. Do you believe she can?
Yeah.
All right. The reason I said there you go, like that was the better choice. I should have said, I said manager. Why did I? No. This was said to me recently. Like I'm all over the place, but it was suggested to me, and this was a good vocab word. And then actually we're going to end here. I'm not going to hit you with this last piece. You get it. The word would be granular. So I heard some concepts. Yes, finding that equality. Boom. Equality. You hike up Equality Mountain, that's a lifetime. So what's for real? And you're going to want a Sherpa, and you're going to want... Well, you treat them equally. You're going to want to get real detail-oriented, right? Even though you don't want to admit the freaky thing about the unitard web. That was super specific. Half this side flavor. Very specific. I would suggest we get the grand concepts, for sure. But I'm asking you to tell yourself from where that calling comes from to get really detail-oriented with it. Get real granular so that you can be you and somebody else can do their thing, all right? This seems weird to say, but I mean it. Don't know you very well, but I love you very much. Thank you for having me here. And should we shout and stand and scream at something enthusiastic? Are we going to live the best life that we can live?
Thanks for hanging with us. I hope you had a blast. If you know someone who would make a great guest on Earthy, or you'd like us to cover a specific topic, reach out at adventure-guru.org.